Hey friends, I'm here at the beautiful Aria Resort in Las Vegas discussing dividend stocks. In the video today, I want to share with you why dividend stocks are my financial home base. What is a home base? As you can see on the screen in front of you right now, most of us think of our home base as our residence. It's where we live. A home base is really important because it's the foundation of everything. It's the center of your life. It's the starting point of each day. It's also the ending point too. It's the springboard to all we do. And everything requires a strong foundation, a strong base. And so for me, financially speaking, dividend stocks, they're my foundation, they're my home base when I think of my financial strategy. And when I talk about dividend stocks, I'm talking about stocks that pay dividends that I can use to pay my bills. They generate dividends while I sleep at night. So in the video today, I'm going to share an analogy. I want to share this concept of the home base because it illustrates so much about what I do with my dividend stocks. As you can see on the screen in front of you right now, the first concept I want to cover is really this concept of the starting point. I really can't focus outward and start any kind of project until I have focused inward and I have a solid home base. My residence, talking about my physical residence, it must be clean, it must be tidy, it must be organized, it must be kind of taken care of before my mind can be free to focus on my job, to focus on other things out there externally. And so that strong foundation is really important. As you can see on the screen in front of you right now, I want to share an example. Because a great home base, financially or physically speaking, with a residence, it can be a starting point for so much more in life. I know for my own situation that a clean home base, it's a sanctuary to my mind. A clean home base, it's an inviting place to return. And so before I go on any trip, whether it's a business trip, a short one, or whether it's a long vacation, I always like to tidy up the home base. I like to cross some items off the list. I like to clean it up. I like to organize it. I like to make sure that it's tidy. I like to go ahead and just get some projects off the list, such as yard work, for example. And I know that all of that is exhausting. And by the time I go on the vacation or the business trip, oftentimes I'm kind of tired, but I have peace of mind. And peace of mind for me is priceless. I can sleep at night knowing I'm working off of a solid foundation, a solid home base. Same thing with the dividend stock portfolio. It's a starting point for everything else in life. By having a well-organized portfolio, by carefully hand-picking the stocks and ETFs that I own, by being very selective with my strategy, by thinking about percentage allocations of all the different positions, by constantly reviewing my portfolio's progress over time, by putting in that work. It can take some time, but building that solid home base, financially speaking, is a springboard for me to do so much more in life. It's that peace of mind, which is priceless. It's that starting point. Life starts, in my opinion, with a solid home base, whether it's a residence or whether it's a dividend stock portfolio. As you can see on the screen in front of you right now, the next thing I want to talk about is this concept of the fixer-upper. And so many of us, for our physical residence, our physical home base, we may just go out and buy a really fancy mansion that is completely perfect and needs no work. But many other of us will buy what's considered a fixer-upper. Maybe it's a nice starting point, but it needs some work. We're going to do some projects each weekend. We're going to be going out to the Home Depot. Disclosure, I'm long HD, the Home Depot. And it takes some time to fix it up. But over time, it becomes that sanctuary, that home base that is perfect. I look at dividend stock investing the same way. Some of us out there, and I've heard this in the community, just get a lump sum. And when we have the lump sum, we invest it, one and done. Try to be really thoughtful and careful with the investing and put it in the right positions, maybe dollar cost average it a little bit, but more or less the money is deployed at one point, one and done, the cash flow is coming, and everything is good. But a lot of other investors, and I fall into this camp, although I have had some bigger deployments along the way, but most of the time it's just brick by brick, small tranches, little bits of money here and there, putting it in, it all compounds over time. We invest kind of like we would buy a fixer-upper. The portfolio, it's kind of small, but brick by brick by brick each week, we can add more money to the portfolio. We can be thoughtful. We can buy the stocks that are of high quality but are on sale at any given time. We can look for the best opportunities at any given time. If there are no good opportunities, we can wait a little bit. We can maybe not do any work on the home base that week. We can wait till there's a better week to do the work. Maybe the materials are a little too expensive at the Home Depot, so we wait a few weeks until they're a little cheaper. Maybe they go on sale. But long story short, I think a lot of us are looking at dividend stock investing more as a fixer-upper. It's just these incremental improvements over time, and eventually it turns a starting home base into a much better home base for one's financial journey. And so I want to keep going, as you can see on the screen in front of you right now. And so this next concept I want to cover is really this analogy of the safe haven and kind of the sanctuary. And so in life, things can get hectic. We all know it. And our home base, our residence, if you will, we want to have a home base to kind of retreat to when times are a little hectic or tiresome. It's great, even after a long day of work, a tiring day of work, just to go home and kick back. But to also know that one is kind of safe in the space, one is in a sanctuary. Hey, we call it sometimes like, hey, it's our castle. That's where we're going to sleep at night. And so same thing with dividend stock portfolio. I like to look at my dividend stocks as being safe and as a sanctuary. There is a reason I have constructed my portfolio the way I have. It's my financial home base. I don't want a home base that is volatile. I don't want a home base that has a ton of risk. I don't want a home base where I'm relying on capital appreciation that may or may not ever come. I have steadily growing dividend passive income coming through that I can use to pay my bills. I have lower risk stocks. I have constructed my portfolio in a way where it tends to thrive when times are a little uncertain. We all know over the last year that my sin stocks have done incredibly well. They have crushed any expectations I had of these stocks. And the reason these are in my home base is I know we do live in uncertain times, and I want that sanctuary. I want that safe haven of the home base. And I'm making it even more so over time that way by adding the SCHD ETF. That one is bringing massive diversification to my financial home base. And so it's interesting to think these analogies have so much relevance to how I think not only about living life in a physical realm, but in the financial realm, how I build that home base. But let's keep going. I got more. And so as you can see on the screen in front of you right now, the home base can be a great source of energy. And so when we go to our physical home base, our residence, we like to sleep or watch TV or lounge around. We just kind of feel good being at home. I always feel great being at home. I want to invest in a way that adds tranquility to my life. Slow and steady. I'm not a trader. Look, I have a lot of respect for those who trade stocks, but for me, that's just not the right thing. I want my stock portfolio to be a source of relaxation, tranquility, and energy. And of course, in my opinion, the act of a stock, a company paying a dividend to a shareholder like me, that really is energy personified. By holding this asset, it gives me energy, financial energy, and it's kind of like my house. When I sleep or I rest or I relax, the home, the house, it gives energy back to the person that lives there. But let's keep going. As you can see on the screen in front of you right now, the next analogy comes back to just making home improvements. And so with the home base, we all know this because a lot of us are kind of fixer-upper type investors or homeowners, but making home improvements. We can upgrade the home base. Things that even may have served us well in the past may not serve us well anymore. they can get retired, and then you can make a big renovation. I think the dividend portfolio, and I know mine in particular, it's the same. Sometimes I make a huge renovation. Back not that long ago, and I will link to it in the pinned comment below, I made a big renovation in my financial home base. I made Altria a huge position. Now, because it's done so well in these times of uncertainty, Altria has become, and my patrons already know this, by the way, I'll link in the pinned comment below to my Patreon. I just did a fun blog post over there for my backyard and corner patrons about this very topic. But Altria, it's my number 2 position in my portfolio now. And so by making that renovation in the portfolio, I made a big change. You can do that to your home base. You can make a change from time to time. It's really made a big change because the stock grew in size. It's my number 2 position. But the core of the portfolio, the essence of the portfolio, it's still the same thing, and it's the same with a physical residence. If someone kind of takes out the old kitchen and puts in a new kitchen, redoes all the paint colors, takes out the bathroom, makes it completely different, takes out a wall, reconfigures it a bit. Look, the home may look different, but it's the same home. It's the same home base. And that's why it's so interesting with the financial home base. Yeah, it's the same dividend stock portfolio, but now Altria is number 2. Let's keep going. As you can see on the screen in front of you right now, the next thing I want to go through is just home base upkeep. I already spoke about this a bit, but with a physical home base, hey, lawn care, it's a real thing. Sometimes you have to add new exterior paint. Sometimes a new roof even. I keep reserves for these kind of things, and I add to that fund all the time because I know those expenses are always popping up. But look, dividend investing, it requires some upkeep too. Sometimes we just need to put some time into it. We need to research, keep records, work on taxes. Other times though, hey, there's a setback, there's a dividend cut. I'll give you an example. Hawaiian Electric. That was a company I used to own. I sold it. I held it for a long time. It did well for me, served me well for many years, but unfortunately they suspended the dividend and I decided to sell. That was a setback in terms of my dividend cash flow, but I rebuilt from there. There was some upkeep needed. I added more money to the portfolio. I rebuilt in new and different ways, and my dividend income now has far surpassed where it was when Hawaiian Electric went ahead and suspended the dividend. But just as with a physical home, sometimes with the financial home base, there is upkeep required. Let's keep going. As you can see in front of you right now, the next analogy I want to talk to is just home base appreciation. This is an interesting one. A house will appreciate over time, but if you plan to live there forever, does it really matter? Same thing with my dividend portfolio. Stocks have gone up. Altria is worth a lot. It's number 2. Feels good. But honestly, for someone who plans to hold forever, does all this appreciation really matter? It's nice. It gives options in life. But honestly, for someone like myself, it doesn't matter that much. The cash flow is what matters to me. And just as my physical home base gives me energy, my financial home base, dividend stocks, that gives me the energy as well. That's what I'm looking for. The dividend cash flow, the energy, not really the capital appreciation. I've got some more though. As you can see on the screen in front of you right now, the next analogy is really this owner-occupied home base. So a house can be occupied. This I kind of equate to conservative, classical dividend investing. The house may have a little less energy created, but it stays in really nice and premium condition. Or someone can rent out a house completely, the home base, or rent out parts of it, rooms. But renters, they can create damage. But there's more energy created, obviously rental income. And so I'd say an example with dividend investing, I get this question all the time. Ian, do you write covered calls on your portfolio? No, I don't. Because of this very analogy, I don't want my stocks to get called away. I look at my financial home base as being a very premium quality. I've constructed it in a very intentional manner. And if I were to write covered calls, I run the risk of having stocks called away. Would I generate more income? Absolutely. But for my personal situation, I look at my financial home base just like an owner-occupied physical home base. I don't really want to kind of rent it out, if you will. But of course, I have much respect for anyone in the community doing covered calls, and there's a lot of investors doing it really well. It's just not what I do. What I do are individual high quality stocks, buy and hold forever, and I realize I may be leaving some money on the table for the luxury of having a perfect, in my eyes, portfolio. But let's keep going. As you can see on the screen in front of you right now, the next concept is actually a difference. And so one thing I want to point out is someone can rent their physical home base. They can buy a house, or they can rent a house, or rent a townhouse, rent an apartment home, a condominium. And there's pros and cons of home ownership versus renting. But what I will say for a financial home base, in my eyes, for my particular strategy, it must be owned. I don't participate in margin loans. I don't really believe in taking on margin or leverage for the purpose of dividend stock investing for my very personal situation only. Of course, others may do it differently. But I'm a classic long-term buy and hold forever dividend stock investor. And so I don't use margin and leverage. And that's just one difference that I wanted to illustrate, because there's so many similarities between a physical home base and this financial home base, but that was the one difference I could think of. I want to share some bonus content today. I have a few more bonus thoughts I want to share with you. So as you can see on the screen in front of you right now, the next one is really this concept of the home away from home. So many of you know me. I love Starbucks. It's my home away from home. And so I have a home base, but Starbucks can also be a home base for me. I don't have to be in my primary residence or home base. I can be at Starbucks, and that can kind of give me that grounding point to do a lot of great work and to look outwards and work on my job, for example. I kind of look at dividend stocks as not only a home away from home, because they're not tied to any location, but I think of them as a financial cloud. We talk about cloud computing a lot these days. There's all this data in the cloud. The YouTube video you're watching right now, thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying the video today so far, please go ahead and click the like button. I know this video is a little different, but I was just thinking, hey Ian, I want to do something different for the community today. I want to share how I look at these things strategically thinking and what keeps me so motivated, why I do what I do, because there's a lot behind it. It's not just picking stocks. It's not just picking ETFs. There's a lot behind all of this. But the financial cloud, I look at dividend stocks as a financial cloud, and I think it's more important than ever before. There's a lot of drama in the world right now. There's a lot of volatility. There's a lot of things going right, but sometimes there's a lot of things going wrong. What I love about the financial home base of dividend stocks is I can take this home base with me anywhere because it lives in the cloud, and that passive income can support myself and my family anywhere on this beautiful planet. And so another bonus thought, as you can see on the screen in front of you right now, this is kind of a bonus thought or closing thought. I just want to be clear, cost does not matter. We all have different home bases. Some of us might live in apartments, some of us might live in townhouses, some in mansions, some on yachts, some on beachfront property, some might be living mobily in a RV. It does not matter how much the physical home base costs, because a home is a home and we can all draw strength and energy from it. Same thing with dividend stocks. It's going to be unique to you. You might have a smaller portfolio by the standards of professional investors. You might have a huge portfolio. Really, the way I look at dividend stocks, it doesn't matter the portfolio size, just as one's home doesn't matter how much it costs to rent or to buy it. It matters what it does for you. And if the massive cash flow you get is enough to cover your overhead, that's really where the magic happens with dividend investing. And same with a physical home base. And they're related. If you're able to economize on costs, reaching huge success with the financial home base comes a lot quicker. So if you enjoyed the video also, please don't forget to subscribe. It means the world to me. And I have an update for all of you. If you enjoyed my video today, you enjoy my content here on YouTube, you like to hear me talk about all these wacky concepts about dividend stocks, like this one here from the Aria Hotel in Las Vegas, please check out the pinned comment below. This is a real honor of mine. I am going to be speaking at the Blossom Investor Tour in Toronto. This is happening in September. I'm also going to be speaking at the Blossom Investor Tour in Chicago. This is going to be so great. Toronto, it's going to be like over 1,000 attendees. It's a huge conference of DIY investors, a lot of them like me and you who care about dividend stocks, and it's going to be at Rogers Center, home of the Toronto Blue Jays. The event in Chicago is going to be at the Chicago Options Exchange, CBOE. And so this is going to be a huge opportunity in Chicago to see a really well-respected beacon in the financial industry. It's the Options Exchange. It's where it all happens, right there in Chicago. And I want to meet you. I'm going to be at these events. If you are there, there's going to be plenty of opportunities to say hi, to shake hands, to take a photo together, to discuss dividend stocks. I'm going to be on the stage as well at both events speaking about dividend stocks. So if you have any topics you want me to cover, please put in the comments section below. And again, it's in the pinned comment below, the link to the event and how you can sign up and my code. I have a 15% off code. And if you're not on Blossom Social yet, which is a social media app, a platform for investors, if I'm not here on YouTube or on my Patreon, that's really where you're going to find me. Check out the pinned comment below. I have my affiliate link. And in terms of full disclosure, I do get compensated if you sign up, although it's free to get started. And I am long Blossom and I'm an affiliate of Blossom. Before I go today, in terms of a full disclosure, I am long the stocks mentioned today. I am long Altria, ticker MO. I am long Philip Morris, ticker PM, Starbucks, SBUX. I am also long the Home Depot, ticker HD. I am also long the SCHD ETF. Before I go today, in terms of a friendly disclaimer, today's video, it's not investment advice. I'm not a licensed investment advisor. I'm just sharing my journey for fun and entertainment. It's possible to lose money in the stock market. Please go ahead and consult your licensed financial advisor before making any financial decisions. Again, I just share my journey here for fun and entertainment. As always, in the description below, I have my disclosures, disclaimers, all of that kind of stuff. I cannot wait to see you all at the Blossom Investor Tour in either Chicago or Toronto or both. And I cannot wait to see you in the next dividend stock investing video.